The Columbus Arts Council is featuring a new exhibit, Mr. Pruitt's Possum Town, photographing trouble and resilience in the American South. Stephen Pimpo talks with an author and area residents about the unique view of Lowndes County's past.
This is part of our history, and maybe it will give us some insight never to go down that dark road, that let's look at those things that brought us together and let's build on this.
While they may have been taken before his time, Lowndes County Supervisor Leroy Brooks says that plenty of the pictures depicting Columbus between 1915 and 1960 are extensions of what he has seen growing up.
I'm reminded somewhat of a segregated Columbus, Lowndes County, but I'm also reminded of the relationship that is somewhat unique in the South that a lot of people don't understand between black and white people.
The images on display at the Columbus Art Council are a sampling of the life's work of photographer O.N. Pruitt.
He was a white photographer, which allowed him to move obviously in the white world, but also in the black world as well.
Pruitt was one of the few photographers that would take pictures of African Americans and their families during the Jim Crow era.
Black subjects or white subjects all were equal before the lens. Of course, out in the streets and in the neighborhoods, racial segregation was at play.
The project is the result of decades of work by Columbus native and media history professor Berkeley Hudson. Hudson says Pruitt's work as a freelance photographer for the newspaper, lawyers, insurance companies, and local law enforcement allowed him to capture the complex nature of race and culture in Mississippi.
Baptisms, people meeting on the common ground of their love for Jesus Christ at the same time when white people were lynching others in the name of Jesus Christ as well.
The purpose of the exhibit is to simply give the people of present-day Columbus the chance to take a long look back at the history of their city.
You start to wonder, who is this in this picture? Who is this beautiful woman here? Who are these people in this beauty shop, these black people in the beauty shop? Who's this woman catching these fish out here?
The title of Hudson's collection is Photographing Trouble and Resilience in the American South. It features plenty of both.
Here's a picture here of Union Academy, which by the early 1900s had 1,000 students. It was the first school for freed enslaved people.
Young black being hung in front of the courthouse or of the movement of Ku Klux Klan, it will chill your soul.
Brooks says that many of the photos illustrate lessons that should never be forgotten.
You hear people talking about the critical race theory and taking the teaching of black history out of the high schools.
Hudson says he's not interested in telling people what to think about these pictures. He just hopes they stop and look.
That's the dynamic of our human existence, is trouble and resilience. And Pruitt photographed that.
In Columbus, Stephen Pimpo, WCBI News.
There will be a panel discussion on the preservation of O.N. Pruitt's work tomorrow morning at the Arts Council's main gallery. It starts at 10:30. The exhibit will remain on display at the Columbus Arts Council gallery until April 23rd, when it will begin touring around the country.